Hey everyone, welcome to Amanda's Book Corner. I'm Amanda, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about something I probably should have done 8 months ago when I actually started this channel. So I'm not sure if I'm still allowed to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm doing the BookTube Newbie Tag, and I know you're supposed to do this when you actually have just started your channel. My first video came out about 8 months ago. I think it was at the beginning of August. So sorry that I'm late with this, and I'm sorry if I'm not allowed to do this, but I figured, what's the harm in doing the book newbie tag, even though I'm not that new anymore? But I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing, so for me, psychologically, this feels valid for me to do. So let's dive right in and I'll answer the 10 questions. So the first question is, why did you start this BookTube channel? It's kind of a two-part answer. So on the one hand, I had started a different YouTube channel that was about my love of music, and I started that about a year before I did this one. And I didn't really feel like I knew what I was doing with that one, and I wasn't really sure what direction I wanted to take it in. And so I kind of put that one on hiatus. And I still wanted to do a YouTube channel, but my interests were already starting to shift a little bit away from that and more toward BookTube. And the reason for that is because I was watching a lot of BookTube videos on YouTube already, and I was reading more and more, especially with the pandemic. My reading just kind of skyrocketed off of what I was already doing. And so I thought it'd be really fun to actually start a BookTube channel. I love reading. I read a lot. I'm currently reading about 100 books a year. And reading was my first love. I love talking about books. I love thinking about books, researching what books are coming out. Books are kind of just my main obsession right now. And so I thought I'd have a lot to say and have a really fun time doing this channel. The other thing is I'd already started a book blog called Amanda's Book Corner. I technically started that in 2017, but I didn't really start working with it until 2019. And so I've been writing book reviews there for a few years, and last year, I'd already been doing it for 2 years at that point. I thought the next step for that really would be to start a YouTube channel, a BookTube channel, and that would kind of really tie in nicely with what I was already doing. Okay, second question. What are some fun or unique things that you can bring to this BookTube channel? For this one, I really don't have a good answer, I guess. I'm not really sure what differentiates me from the other hundreds or thousands of BookTube channels out there. What I will say is I do focus primarily on reading new books, and so almost all the books I read have been published within the last 5 years or so. Every now and then I'll read an older one, like a classic or something that's just been on my TBR for a while, but most of my books really are focused on new releases. I also try to read very diversely in terms of authors' race, religion, gender identity, sexuality, where they're from, books in translation, reading different genres. I really try to read a wide variety of books, and I think that will be reflected in the books that I talk about. I do book review videos, which I know is not super popular, but I do like to review books, and so I will have those. I also put out different kind of content like these tag videos. This is my first one. I also do blogs or vlogs. I do listicles, so I do a wide variety of content, and I do try to kind of go in more depth than I see a lot of people do, especially my book reviews. I do try to go into depth without spoiling anything. So I guess that's what I bring. I don't know if it's unique, but that's what I try to do. Question 3 is, what are you most excited for about this channel? So I'm just really excited to be talking about books with people who also love books. I'm really hoping that I can connect with other readers out there, form some nice connections with other booktubers, readers, and authors. And so far I've already made some connections with authors, which has been very exciting for me. I am a big fan of books and authors, and so it feels a little bit like a fangirl moment sometimes. I'm also just really excited about creating things. I've always liked writing, and this is kind of a new thing for me. I'm not really a big video editor, so y'all just have to bear with me while I kind of work on my skills there. But I do feel very excited about being able to create something and being able to spread my love of books, of reading, of specific authors. So I do hope that I spread a lot of joy and enthusiasm around books. Question number 4 is, why do you love reading? So reading, I kind of already mentioned, but reading has always been my number one favorite passion. Ever since I learned how to read, I've been obsessed with it. I've always been obsessed with books. When I was younger, I had a bedroom, and it was just a normal, smallish sized bedroom, but I somehow had packed 5 bookcases in there. Part of that's because my bed was up on stilts, like a bunk bed, but without the bottom bunk. So under my bed I had other bookcases, but all of my bookcases were double stacked with books. So my book obsession goes all the way back to my childhood. I think what I've always loved about books is they allow you to travel and to understand different kinds of people and go through different experiences that you yourself have never gone through. So when I was younger, my family was poor. We didn't really have the funds to travel anywhere. We never went on vacation anywhere. And I always wanted to travel. I wanted to go all over the world, and books is how I did that. I also just love getting to know different kinds of people and seeing all the differences between people, but also how we're all fundamentally, deep down, we're all the same. So I feel like reading is how I get to know people and how I get to know different cultures, different countries, different experiences. It just awakens my imagination, and for me it just always felt like a wonderful escape. Question 5. What book or series got you into reading? So this one I can't really answer because, like I said, I have been obsessed with reading ever since I learned how to read, and I can't really remember what I was reading when I was a little kid. I think my first memory of reading a book on my own was The Gingerbread Man. I remember reading that out loud to my family. There was a whole bunch of people at my house. I don't know why. I'm not sure what the holiday or birthday or whatever it was. But I remember reading it out loud and feeling so proud of myself and just so excited. I was probably 4 or 5, however old kids are when they learn to read. And I've really been obsessed with reading ever since. Beyond that, some of the earliest series that I remember being obsessed with as a kid were the Nancy Drew books and the Black Stallion books. Actually, I had a whole bunch of book series that were about horses in some way. There was the Phantom Stallion, there was the Unicorns of Balinor. I can't remember. There were just so many different horse-related book series that I was obsessed with. But beyond horses, I love Nancy Drew. So those were kind of the two main ones that I loved when I was a kid. And I really loved reading all the way through high school. I loved reading so much that when I went to college, I decided to major in English. And so I do have a degree in English literature. Ironically, while I was in college and also in my master's degree after that, I kind of just stopped reading for fun. And so I didn't really get back into reading for pleasure for myself until a couple months after I finished my master's degree. And it took me about a year or two to really find my footing with what I liked as an adult, but I've never stopped loving books. I've always been a big reader. Question 6. What challenges do you think will be the hardest to overcome? So, again, I'm not exactly new. I started 8 months ago, so I have noticed the challenges I've had so far, which is just finding my audience. I haven't been very good about interacting with the book community so far. I am a shy person in real life, and so it's kind of hard for me to put myself out there and interact with people. So that's been hard. I haven't really been doing much social media, so that's another weakness of mine. And I don't really know how to market myself or build those connections. And so that's what I'm trying to focus on now. That's what I'm hoping to do in the coming months, is really focus on finding that audience, making those connections, marketing myself properly. So that's been my hardest thing so far. I don't find it that hard to film videos, although, like I said, I'm shy, and so I have to be in the certain mood to film videos. And so I do usually try to film a few videos in one day and then edit for the next few days after that. I guess my other weakness is I'm not very good at video editing, so I have a lot of weaknesses actually, so I don't know what I'm doing here. But I love talking about books. I do read a lot, so that's the easy part. For me, the hard part is everything else. Number 7, when did you start reading? So I guess I've mentioned this by now, but I started reading religiously when I was probably 4 or 5, something like that. Whenever you start reading when you're a kid. I read constantly from the time I learned how to read all the way through high school. Then through college, I was reading a lot for my classes. As an English major, there was a lot of reading going on there. I guess in my master's degree, I read a little bit less, and then I rediscovered my love of reading after that. So when I was about 23 is when I kind of got back into reading, but now reading as an adult and kind of figuring out what I like as an adult now. Number 8, where do you read? So I'm the kind of person who likes to read in a silent environment. I don't like to have too many distractions around. And so normally I would read on the couch, although now in my personal room that I'm in right here, which is my office / library / filming studio, I have a couch on the other side of this camera right here. And so that's where I do most of my reading these days. I'll just curl up on the couch, get a blanket and my pillow, and just read for a few hours. In the summertime, I'll go onto the balcony and sit in the chairs out there and read out there. But I don't really do that until it's summertime, until it's warm enough to actually be out there. And because of the way the house is positioned against the sun, I have to make sure I'm out there when the sun is in a certain spot. So I can only read at certain times of the day because it's too dark otherwise, too shadowy. I am also a person who can and does read when traveling, so I can read in the car, I can read on planes. I'm not really a person that has like motion sickness or anything. I don't travel that much these days, but when I do travel, I always bring a book to read. Number 9, what kinds of books do you like to read? So I really like to read all kinds of books, and I know that's a cliche answer, but I really do love all kinds of genres. I mostly read fiction, and I mostly read newer books that have been published in the last few years. I found that I've gone through different phases. So when I was first getting back into reading in my 20s, I found that I was really drawn to thrillers and historical fiction. And lately I've been reading a lot more romance and fantasy, but I really like all kinds of genres, and I don't like to stick with one genre for too long. For example, right now as I'm filming this, I've been reading a lot of romances lately. Part of that is because I keep being contacted by publicists for romance reviews, and I love romances. For a while they actually have been kind of like my reset book that I read between heavier books, but now I've gotten to the point where just like, enough romances, I want to read something different, something a little bit heavier or sadder, or just, I don't know, just something different. I think the only genres that I really don't read much of are westerns. I don't read those at all. And sci-fi, I don't read much of that either. I'm kind of picky when it comes to sci-fi. And with nonfiction, usually if I'm reading nonfiction, it's just a specific subject that I'm interested in. So I love music, so I do read a lot of nonfiction books about music. Sometimes I read about politics or other social issues because I am into that. I do like progressive stuff, so I do read about that sometimes, but for the most part, I'm generally reading fiction. And question number 10, what does your book collection look like? Well, you're looking at part of it. Behind me, I have 3 bookcases that are, the bookcases are about a little bit taller than I am, so they don't go all the way to the ceiling, but they're a little bit taller than me, and they're filled top to bottom. And over there, on the other side of me, I have another bookcase that's filled up with books. And then I have a stand for my record player, and under that I have some music books. And I have like a little library cart over there by my couch, which has the books I'm planning to read next. So I have a lot of books kind of just around the room here. And I have boxes and boxes and boxes of books that I haven't opened yet. They're the books that I had throughout my childhood that have just been packed away for the last decade. So I don't actually know what's in those boxes. I'm actually planning to do a video about that soon where I'm going to unpack all my boxes and see what books I have from my childhood. So we'll see what's in there. But currently around me I have probably 500 books, give or take. Maybe 450, I don't know. I have a lot of books, I have a problem. And we're done. That's all the questions. So this has been fun. I think I should have done this a long time ago when I actually started my channel 8 months ago, but it's better late than never, am I right? I do plan to do more BookTube tags in the future, so I will be participating in a lot of those in the coming weeks and months. So I hope I'll see some more of you there, and I have other videos too. I have probably like 80 or something videos out already. I have a lot of book reviews and other videos too, like vlogs and listicles and things. So hopefully find something else that you like there too. So if you enjoyed this video, if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And to make sure you don't miss any more of my videos, please ring the bell to get all my notifications. I put out about 2 to 3 book review videos every week, as well as videos like this one, including vlogs and listicles. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!